There's a tremendous amount of searching for treasure in Harrisburg, and people think it's money. They think it's money. But the real treasure of Harrisburg is not its money. Even with all the money that's available on the West Shore, the real treasure of Harrisburg is the people of God. And God told me to come here today and say that to you. You're the real treasure of Harrisburg. That's why it's overlooked. Harrisburg, the people in prominent positions, they overlook the real treasure. And that's because people still don't realize that money, you've heard me say this before, money is the lowest form of wealth. Money is the lowest form of wealth. Currency is the lowest form of wealth. The highest level of wealth is life. It's life. People. We've had so many negative experiences when we first got here with people in the outside of the church world. And when we finally started meeting the people of God, I must be honest with you and tell you, it was such a wonderful breath of fresh air. I realize that there are hypocrites in churches, and there are bad people. There are folks who don't know what they're doing. People who got all kinds of problems. But I'm talking about when you really meet the genuine thing, when you meet people that really love God, it is such a wonderful, wonderful breath of fresh air, the cool drink of water in a desert place. So God he wanted me to remind you guys that the Lord calls you treasure because of the treasure that's within you. Paul, when he wrote this letter to the Corinthians, says, "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellence of the power may be of God and not of us." Now, there is a difference between the excellence of the power and the power of excellence. First of all, I want to talk about the power of excellence, because that's what is really pursued by many, even within the church. When you say the power of excellence, it's the influence of excellence. How many of you ever heard people say, we got to do things in excellence? We got to be a ministry of excellence. But that's not what Paul said. He didn't say be a ministry of excellence and even to be a people of excellence. He said the excellence of the power. I'm not just trying to put a play on words, but I want you to see Paul wrote something very intentional. He could have said the power of excellence, that the power of the excellence of God. But he said the excellence of the power, because there is a difference. And you and I are not striving for the power or the influence or the ability of excellence. What we are looking for is to have the excellency of God's power coming through us. And I want to show you what that looks like. Because the power of excellence looks like this. I'll tell you, the power of excellence looks like this. Everything is so nice. The landscaping is great. And I'll automatically figure this is a moving, happening church. The lettering is perfect. The building looks great. I walk into the foyer and I feel like I've stepped into heaven. And I'm not saying that this is bad, because you do need to see excellence. But the striving for the power of excellence, where there is an influence that comes into a person's life simply because of your and my excellence. That's not what Paul was talking about. When there is excellence, yes, it does cause people to kind of perk up and want to hear what you got to say and want to experience the ministry that's coming forth through your life. But if they get stuck there, they'll never move into what Paul said, the excellency of his power. And here's what the excellency of his power looks like. The excellency of his power looks like this. We are hard pressed on every side. Now, this is what the excellency of the power looks like. We're hard pressed on every side. The word hard pressed, the word pressed means to be troubled, or to be literally to be pressed like grapes. See, this is the excellency of the power. See, because when you're going through the excellency of his power, you don't look excellent. It don't look like you got it all together. That's why I say you can be deceived. You can be tricked about what's really happening. See, the power of excellence, it's based upon numbers. How many members you got at your church? What your facilities look like? How large is your men's ministry? How tight is the band? See, the power of excellence. But the excellence of his power, we're hard pressed. We're troubled on every side, pressed like grapes. Juices spilling everywhere. But not crushed. The word crushed means to be crushed to the point of destroyed. So your grapes are pressed. We're pressed, we're squeezed in, but we're not destroyed. That's what that word crushed means in that particular instance. It literally means to be brought to the point where it's crushed. He pressed the grapes, but he doesn't crush them. Isn't this good to know? That's what it means, the excellency of his power. Here's another way, the excellence of his power. It means that we're perplexed. And the word perplexed means to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left weary, to be embarrassed. Wow. Anybody ever been there? See, this, it don't look like you got much excellence when you're embarrassed. To be in a place where you don't know what to do. Here's the writer actually saying, here's what the excellence of power means. It means you come to places where you don't know what to do, and you feel embarrassed about where you are. But, he said, but not in despair. Despair means to be utterly lost. To be utterly, it literally means to be utterly destitute of any measures or any resources. It means to be without hope. So even though I come to places where I don't know what to do and I'm embarrassed about where I am, here's the word of the Lord saying that the excellency of his power looks like this. I'm not without any hope. I'm not without any resources. I may not know what to do, but I know where to go to get what I need. I may not know what decision to make right now, but I know where to put my hope and my expectation.